Hi, it's Mr. Kane here, and we're going to look at bases and alkalis in this video clip. Find out what exactly they are and what makes them what they are. What makes a base, what makes an alkali. So here's this picture again. Now you should know which ones are acids, and by the end of this you should know which ones are bases as well, and why they are bases or alkali. So, same as before, when something dissolves it makes a solution, and we can sort these solutions out for whether they're acid, alkali or neutral, and we're about to find out what makes an alkali solution an alkali solution. So acids destroy bases, bases destroy acids. They are chemical opposites. They sort of cancel each other out. In the right proportions, base will cancel out an acid. In the right proportions, an acid will cancel out a base. So they're chemical opposites, and when they wipe each other out, that's called neutralizing. They neutralize the effects of each other, and we use that in everyday life. So here's some examples of bases and alkalis. But what exactly makes the difference between a base and an alkali? So the difference being is an alkali, they'll dissolve in water. So if you've got something that doesn't dissolve but it does neutralize an acid, it's a base. Now if it dissolves in water, you have a thing called an alkali. So you've got liquid cleaners and you've got soaps, they're alkali. And that gives a bit of a clue also to how you can tell you've been handling an alkali solution. So lots of things we find around home are alkali. And if you get them on your skin, you've got that slippy, soapy feeling kind of thing. If you've been handling stuff in the lab and you feel a soapy feeling, get your hands under water, wash it off, because same as acids, it's corrosive. That soapy feeling is your skin cells slipping and sliding away, and it will get through, but once it gets through the skin, and it really starts to hurt. So if you've been handling some liquids and it feels slippy, soapy, wash it off, lots of water, you'll be fine. So because they are corrosive, it's your skin sliding away. So as I said, there are lots and lots of everyday products, cleaning products, Mr. Muscle, bleachers, cleaners, degreasers, oven cleaners. They're all alkali. So many cleaning products have got alkali in there somewhere, and they contain ammonia or sodium hydroxide because they're very, very good at dissolving grease, oils and greases that we find, in the oven, on dishes, on us. When we wash ourselves with soap, gets the grease and dirt off. Okay. Now, calcium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, they are really strong alkalis, and we'll find out in a moment what makes them strong. The most recognisable one that you'll find around home in cleaners somewhere is a thing called ammonia. You'll recognise the smell too. It really gets up your nose, but it's actually a weak one compared to the sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide. And in those names there's a clue to what makes a base or an alkali an alkali. So here's some formula. What have they got in common? Yeah, there's the corrosive thing again. They're all corrosive, but there's something else that they all have in common in those formula. So look at them closely. What do you see? They've all got hydroxide. Now, if I get this right, you look for this OH. Okay, that's the hydroxide. They all have that. Okay, so keep an eye out for that in the formula of any base, any alkali. There'll be hydroxide in there. Okay, yeah. So hydroxide ions. When whatever makes the alkali or base, or especially an alkali, when it dissolves, it releases these hydroxide ions. The more that release, the stronger the alkali is. So the hydroxide ion, that is the alkali particle. So here are some common lab solutions. Can you find these ones in your science lab? When I'm using an alkali in the science lab, my normal go-to one is this one here, sodium hydroxide. That's one I use most commonly, and my little jars of that often leak and dribble a bit, so after I've used that I've got to wash the soapy feeling off my fingers. But that's the most common one that I use in the lab, but you find those in your lab. And that's what bases and alkali are, things that release a hydroxide particle. I hope that was helpful.